All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about similarity. But before we talk about similarity, let me talk about a symbol that we used before, congruency. Congruent had this symbol. I've shown you guys this before. The wiggly thing on top, that meant same size, same shape. That's the wiggly thing on top. So two figures that have the same shape. Now the equal sign at the bottom, that meant the same size. So congruent, we even learned rules like side, angle, side, and all those rules. That meant same shape, same size. That's congruent. Now we're gonna talk about similar, which for similar, I only use the top part. So they're gonna have the same shape, not the same size, just the same shape. So figures, in order for them to have the same shape, let me increase this right here. Two things have to happen. When it comes to angles, they have to have the same angles. So angles have to be the same. When it comes to sides, they have to be proportional. I'll explain that in a minute. So angles have to be the same. And when we look at question number 1, 80 degrees, 80 degrees, angles are the same. Now, when it comes to the sides, the numbers on the top figured are 8 and 10. I'm going to write two fractions. I'm not writing 8 is equal to 10. I'm just going to write two fractions, and the top part are going to be 8 and 10. Now, I notice that 8 is corresponding to 4, and I notice that 10 is corresponding to 5. I don't write the other sides because my numbers are repeating. Now, they will be proportional. They will be proportional if the fractions simplify to the same thing. 8 over 4 or 10 over 5, if you simplify a fraction and it is the same thing, then the sides are proportional. So in this case, because the angles are the same, the sides are proportional, I'm going to say these polygons are similar. Now, if you struggle on simplifying a fraction, because right now 8 over 4 is not that bad, but what if I give you guys 35 over 57? Right? If you struggle on simplifying fractions, then cross multiply. 10 times 4 should equal 8 times 5. Right? It's easier in this case to multiply. Now, looking at question number 2, my values here are 5 and 4. 5 corresponding to 10, 4 is corresponding to 8. If I simplify my fractions, it's the same thing, 1/2. So sides are proportional. However, when I look at the angles are different. 110, 105. So because the angles are different, I'm going to call this not similar. So sides have to be proportional and the angles have to be the same. Otherwise, it's not similar. So same shape, just not the same size. Similarity doesn't have to be the same size. Any questions on these two? Huh? Now here, I'm going to start by telling you the polygons in each pair are similar. So because I'm saying they are similar, I'm already telling you the sides are proportional. So I'm telling you, find the missing side length. I'm going to use, from each figure, I'm only going to use 2 values. The triangle on the left has 3 values. You only need 2. Right? The question mark, since I don't know what value it is, I'm going to call it x. And I'm just going to say x and 20. Once again, I'm going to write fractions, and I'm going to put my x and my 20. I notice that my x is corresponding to 42. I notice my 20 is corresponding to 24. So I want the value of x such that my fractions simplify to the same thing. I look at my second fraction, 20 over 24 simplifies to 5 over 6. I just simplified the fraction on the right. If you can already tell what's the value of x that simplifies to 5 over 6, then you already know the answer. If you cannot tell, then I'm going to go for cross multiplication. Right? 6 times x is 6x. 42 times 5 is 210. Divide each side by 6. In this case, 35. And that's my answer. If you think about it, 35 over 42 is 5 over 6. Now looking at question number 4, The two values I'm going to use, I look at the figure that has the unknown, the question mark, which I'm calling x. I'm going to use those two values that I circle, so x and 30. X is corresponding to 21. 30 is corresponding to 18. 30 over 18, I can simplify it. Let me divide each by 6. I get 5 over 3. So to solve for x, I'm going to cross multiply 3 times x and 21 times 5. Divide both sides by 3. In this case, x is also 35. Any questions on these? No? Okay. My last two examples, I'm asking you to solve for x, but I am telling you that the polygons in each pair are similar. So once again, I'm telling you the angles are the same, the sides are proportional. So I'm going to use these two values. I'm going to say 12 and 2x plus 2. It doesn't matter which one you write on the left and which one you write on the right. I'm just going to use those two values. 12 is corresponding to 9. 2x plus 2 is corresponding to 15. On the left, 12 over 9, I'm going to call that 4 over 3, right? I'm going to simplify the fraction just to deal with smaller numbers. When I cross multiplied, 4 times 15, I'm going to write it up here. That's 60. When I cross multiply this other way, the 3 that is by itself, I'm going to multiply to both of these terms. So I'm going to go 3 times 2x and 3 times 2. Every time they're separated with a plus or minus, kind of think of distributive property. So I'm going to have 6x plus 6. I multiply the 3 to both of your terms. Then I'm going to subtract 6 on each side. 54 is equal to 6x. So x must be 9. Yes. Never mind. Okay. Looking at example number 6, I'm going to use these two values. Like I said, you only need 2. If I give you 3, just get the 2 that you need. I'm going to go x minus 2 and 15. Now, what do I write under the x minus 2? 6. Good, thank you. What do I write under the 15? 10. Now, 15 over 10 can be simplified. I'm going to call that 3 over 2. Now, to solve for x, I'm going to cross multiply. When I cross like this, I'm going to get 2x minus 4. Remember, the 2 multiplied to both terms is equal to 18. Right? 6 times 3. Now, let me add 4. 2x equals 22. So, x must be 11. Cross multiply. Your algebra teachers were supposed to talk something about proportions. They let two fractions equal each other. You learn how to cross multiply. That was back in algebra 1. All right. Any questions on these?